Hey guys, All in Crypto here and welcome back ladies and gentlemen for another YouTube video. In this video we're going to be addressing the recent sell-off that we have seen. I have lots of people asking me, certainly when the market starts to dump, what is going on. I'm going to be telling you what I believe is going on because there is a lot of macroeconomics at play here. We know that we had the Fed essentially come out and say they're going to have to raise interest rates sooner than expected due to the fact that we have inflation. Something that they've been denying for a long time, but me and many other people that are into crypto, it's really the exact reason we're in the space is because we understand that cash in many respects is trash. Certainly, and there's a number, I think it was Milton Friedman that said if you leave the government in charge, or Ludwig von Mises, one of them, of money, it's a sure, they're the only people capable of taking a perfectly valuable commodity such as paper and making it worthless. So we're going to be covering that. It's not just the crypto space. The Dow Jones, the US stock market has had its worst week since January. Worries over inflation hit global equities markets hard. We also have, and we know that Chinese miners are getting shut down left, right and centre. The government in China have essentially come out and said we're going to ban people mining Bitcoin, which was inevitable really, because do you really think that the Chinese government, being as controlling as they are, there are plenty of things banned in China, such as Google, Facebook, all these things are banned in China. They were never going to allow their citizens, they don't even allow them to browse the internet freely as responsible adults. Do you really think they were going to allow them to build their own economy where they don't control it? That was kind of inevitable. But one thing that I really want to point out before we get into any kind of a chart, because I do still think we bottomed here, guys. We said it when it happened. We're using a number of metrics. We think this sell-off was amplified by the amount of leverage in the system. We're looking at things like the RSI. Certainly on the daily chart, the 4 hourly is a bit all over the place. But if you look at the RSI on the daily, and we noted this on a number of occasions, these are just a couple of indicators, guys. When you get down past this 30 level on the RSI, which we did previously in March, it is always followed by a recovery, ladies and gentlemen. And we believe that that is on the cards now. It's not going to be a straight up recovery. You are going to have to work your way out in a similar way to what you did back in March 2020 when we saw the other crash. So there's lots of things to go over in this video. The main point that I want to stress is essentially the reason Bitcoin is doing what it did and sold off slightly is really just down, and we are back. We did break that descending resistance. We are back in it now, just about. I do anticipate with the turn of the new week we are going to continue moving up. We're going to have to watch Sunday. Sunday can be a bit of a down day, usually because things go low volume. It doesn't take a lot to push the markets down. And also, Sunday is a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy in the sense that everyone knows that the market usually sells off on a Sunday, so people try and short it and capitalize on that. But ultimately, I think with the turn of the new week, guys, you are going to continue this uptrend that I believe we're in. There are a number of indicators that lead me to believe we have bottomed out. Now, let me just stress, I could be wrong. I don't have a crystal ball. You cannot be 100% certain about anything, certainly in regards to the crypto market, which is the most bipolar asset out there, I would say. But that is the bias that I'm taking. I'm sticking to it, and we will see how the result turns out. I want to stress the fact that institutions are still buying crypto during this time period. Goldman Sachs, and as I say, crypto is an alternative to copper, not gold. Goldman Sachs report projects, Coinbase, blah, blah, blah. They are now going to essentially, Galaxy Digital will provide liquidity for Goldman Sachs. So Goldman Sachs are going to monetize the crypto space and get into it in that kind of a way, which they are doing that right now. We know Grayscale has added $2 billion worth of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, mainly Ethereum, ADA, and Link, and XRP. We know that there is a serious amount of sort of whales buying up. We know there are institutions buying in this time period. Meanwhile, the media is trying to essentially scare out the retail guy, the little guy, me and you. Here you have Ethereum's top non-exchange wallets to continue to accumulate, owning the most Ethereum since July 2016. You can see, and the purple is essentially the amount of Ethereum that these wallets are holding. They're playing an accumulation game, which is really the key to making money in the crypto space, and that is not advice. That is just, largely hodlers will outperform traders in most cases if they're willing to hold over a long period of time. You can see that they have continued to buy Ethereum regardless of the fact that the price has come down. So if they're doing that and they're the biggest holders, the people with probably the most money, it kind of makes you wonder. And we know that we're back in this descending resistance, but we are seeing a bit of a test on it. I do think with the turn of the new week, it could even happen tomorrow, you're going to start climbing out and we're going to start making that recovery. I'm adamant of that, guys. I just think that it's not going to be a V-shaped recovery like everyone was hoping for. You're going to have to consolidate. You're going to have to let accumulation essentially take place before we're off to the races. And like I say, every market is getting hit by this. Lots of people always ask me, why is interest rates so correlated with investing? Well, because essentially what a hike in interest rates does is it makes the dollar stronger, or whatever government and currency they're upping the interest rate in. When you're looking at a chart, so when we're looking at Bitcoin, you're looking at it in comparison with the US dollar. So if the US dollar gets stronger, Bitcoin loses dominance over it. The same with every other asset class out there. It also means that the rate of borrowing then gets increased, which essentially brings down the demand for people wanting to borrow, because it's going to cost more to borrow. It hits markets in a number of ways, and it would be somewhat detrimental for the Fed to, and certainly what they decide to increase it by, to increase interest rates. Not just, there's so much macroeconomics involved, it's hard to kind of sum it up, but the short and curlies are of it. If the Fed increased interest rates, what that would essentially do would up the strength of the dollar, mean that the dollar was more expensive to come by, if you will. So we're not worried at all. I think people are getting a little bit fatigued with what's going on. This is just how the cryptocurrency market works, ladies and gentlemen. As somebody who's been here since 2017, I've seen it all, and this is just an accumulation range for me. We can see that people are accumulating. Lots of people drawing a macro head and shoulders. I'll flip it to a daily very quickly. Lots of people drawing a macro head and shoulders here, guys. I am not convinced of that. I think that is staring us right in the face and doesn't really make too much sense to me. Like I say, everything I'm saying to you guys on here is all my own opinion. It's not advice. It's just that I'm essentially taking these positions myself, and feel like this is something that I need to share with you. Certainly those people out there who are worried right now, because ultimately I understand that cryptocurrency, certainly blockchain technology, is the future and is going to accrue value as a result of it. And as we see the adoption continue, the price is going to continue to go up. It's basic supply and demands. Ultimately, I think that the amount of people in the grand scheme of things that actually use Bitcoin, hold Bitcoin, is very, very small in comparison with where it's going to get to, and the price is going to increase as a result of this. We know Bitcoin is the driver of space, the driver of value in the space, so altcoins are going to act accordingly and go up with it, usually at a higher beta because they have smaller market caps, which means they can perform in terms of percentages in a greater manner than something like Bitcoin that right now you'd need for it to double, you need more than $500 billion, so it all makes sense. But institutions are still buying. There's infrastructure being placed left, right and centre with the likes of Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, etc., to essentially monetize this space. Isn't it funny as well how all like ex-Goldman Sachs here, ex-Goldman Sachs / BlackRock veteran joins crypto trading platform. They are, Goldman Sachs offering Bitcoin derivatives to investor. Guys, they know that this is the future. These are just shakeouts. We know that with the Wyckoff distribution that there's manipulation at play here. In every market there's manipulation. It's human nature. We also have looked quite closely at the fact that we could be seeing Wyckoff accumulation, whereas we saw Wyckoff distribution taking place right now. Go look at the schematics, go look at the Bitcoin 4-hourly chart against the US dollar. Looks very, very similar, guys. So we're sticking to the bias. We still think we've bottomed and we are going to recover from here. What shape that looks like is really anybody's guess, but we think you're going to have to work your way out. And this is going to be a more of a drawn out recovery than perhaps people would like. That is all I have for you in this video, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to love and leave you. Remember, the crypto market is not immune to the macro markets. And bear that in mind whenever you're looking for reasons perhaps why something has sold off. It's nothing to do with Bitcoin and its merit. That is all I have for you in this video, guys. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Just a quick update. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and I will see you tomorrow, guys.